Hey folks, welcome to Farming Simulator 22 and a little tutorial video. Now, I'm going to be looking at making hay on here. We have seasonal changes on. I'm used to FS19 seasons where you cut the grass. As long as it's dry enough, you leave it to dry to hay, and we're going to see what happens with FS22. Do we need to ted it? Can we just leave it and will it dry to hay? And will those hay bales then rot if we leave them? So first thing we need to do is get some grass cut and turn down the volume. So if you didn't know, Control and B and V will lower both implements, which is really quite useful. Got it on wide spreading because if we're going to leave it to dry to hay, that should dry it the quickest. We've also got a tedder and a windrower and a baler, so we'll cut a bunch of grass and then we will ted some of it and windrow it and bale it, and we will leave the rest and see if it dries into hay. So I'm going to get a bunch of this field mowed, not all of it because it's huge, and then we'll be back and see what happens with the different options for making some hay. Just mowed 4 strips along this field. I think that should be plenty, just to do a little bit of a test. So Control V, Control B, and Control X folds it all on. How cool is that? So next we are going to jump in this little fen and ted some of it. But I really miss from Maize Plus when you walk up to a fruit on the ground that it tells you what that is. What I do know is that this is the grass texture. And that is the hay texture. And the effect for tedding is really cool. It looks quite realistic compared to what I've seen from real world people doing stuff on YouTube. So we're going to ted one of these rows, I think, maybe 2. And yeah, we'll do 2. And then we'll windrow and bale 1, and we will leave the other one, and we will see what happens as we progress time. I didn't bother showing me windrowing because you know what windrowing looks like. So we have a windrow of hay here. It's the hay icon in the bottom right hand corner, and I have it on the smallest size bale just so we can get a bale out of this single fairly small windrow. And then we're going to speed up time and see what happens to the bale and the grass that we have left and hay on the ground. So we'll just switch it off and spit that bale out of the pack, and if we walk up to it, we can see that's got 6,000 litres of hay in it. And then we have this hay and this grass on the ground. So we will now sleep for a bit and see what happens to the rest of the crop. So it's the next day. I've just sped up time, but you can see the grass is starting to grow already. Our hay is still there and our grass is still there, and we'll just go and check on our bale. It's been about 20 degrees overnight, so you'd expect some drying maybe. Our hay bale is the same, but there's not been any bad weather, so it wouldn't have deteriorated with standard seasons. So we will just speed up time again to the next day and see what happens. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second. I do like the sleep anywhere mod. It's very useful. We've got some rain now. And you can see the grass has grown a lot more. Our hay is still on the ground there. And our grass is still on the ground. And our hay bale is not deteriorating, and if we speed up time to 120 times, just so we can part. Usually with FS19 seasons, when you went past a quarter of an hour or 15 minutes past the hour and the hour, you would see the bale deteriorating. So I have tested this through most of a year. Stuff doesn't rot or dry. So you can see we're coming up to 10 AM and our bale is still full. Just slow that back down and we'll jump in a tractor to get out of the rain. So yeah, you can see our hay is still there. Our hay source in front of us is still there, and the grass has not dried. And I've tested this through some really good weather. It just so happens that as I started the game up, we got some bad weather the day after. But yeah, so hay, to make hay, you have to till it. You only have to till it once. It doesn't really matter what the weather conditions are. So if we jump back in our little Fendt fabric, and I do like the gearboxes. I love that the tractor doesn't just race off because it's an old tractor and it has a smaller engine. But yeah, if we now start tedding, we're making some hay in the rain. Pretty much wouldn't do that, be able to do that in seasons because your grass would have rotted away. So yeah, honestly, it's not something I'm a fan of. I will probably adjust how I play to make it feel more like seasons. I guess I don't know if I should say dry, but certainly with tedding and with looking after bales in the rain. So yeah, that's making hay. Cut the grass, you have to ted it, it will not dry. It also will not rot, so you can leave your hay in the field as it rains and it will be fine, and you could bale it and the bales would not rot either. So I hope you're all enjoying Seasons Light on FS22. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff.